The luck, quote unquote, a component of that quote unquote luck is that you have to take risks. From a finance standpoint, if you just hold on to your cash will never grow. It'll just stay cash. You must take risk to make that money grow. But then you got people that just throw the money at the riskiest investments, and that's where you see the tremendous amount of, billionaires being made. And then you're asking, well, why are they so lucky? Because they were willing to take the risk. Fortune does favor the bold. You must be bold. You must take risk in order to get any type of reward to where you would be perceived as lucky. Who knows, man? Who knows? And that's the beauty of this game. Nobody knows. So you got to walk the path, take the risk to find out. Doesn't kill you. You can still go. Any failure is survivable. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the N2N podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. N2N, known as the Ninja or Prolific Ninja by my family and friends and my socials. Because my fans and my friends, you can call me Ninja too. This is the N2N podcast, the alpha to the omega, the beginning to the end, talking about life, motivation, drive, success, self-improvement, and offering you morsels in this all-you-can-eat buffet called life. We are still in January 2026, back in the studio. Glad to be back here. Have another episode. We talked about using January as a ramp up into the year, how you can stay in the mix or get in the mix in 2026, and we're going to do just that. But before I get into that specific topic, I'm going to start my show as I start every day. If you're new to the show, if you've been listening for a while, we're on our 4th year coming up. I'm a physician, lawyer, entrepreneur, business guy, investor, all these things. But every day when I wake up, the first thing I do in the morning is thank God and the universe for another day to hopefully be great and have an opportunity to inspire just one person. Just one person is all it takes for me to live to their fullest controllable potential. And with that, I want to thank you all, everybody that's new to the show or have been on the show for the last almost 4 years. Thank you so much. And the way we grow this show is through your contribution. We are in partnership because I do this on my own dime, on my own time, no sponsors at the moment. I spend my money, my time, production time, all that just to get this content out. And so for us to grow the show to now hundreds of thousands of listeners and followers, I need your help. We do this on a karmic exchange, which means I'm giving you free game. You can't just take it and run because then you would owe me a karmic debt. And so to rebalance that karma, please share the show or follow any of the projects, westlooplaw.com, curaconnector.com, mymedi.com, that's MYMEDDI, .ai actually, Naya.com, all these projects, 1925 Tequila, all these things you can visit and support, but restore that balance somehow. If you share the show, I like to say, share. If your knowledge swole, share the show. That's how we grow, and that is indeed how we've been growing over the last 4 years. So right into it. A lot of times, I just got back from a car event in Austin, over 5,000 people. We were able to get my law firm in front of and all the businesses and investments am involved in front of. I'm about to be on a comedy show, actually. This one right here, I'm going to send it to my guys to post. I'm going to be an opener for a comedy show on Valentine's Day in Houston, Texas, in front of 7,000 people. Just all these opportunities called Lovers and Legends. And believe it or not, I'll be opening for Cedric the Entertainer and Bill Bellamy, amongst other famous comedians. And so it's such an exciting time for me because I haven't done comedy in a while. So if you are in Houston, Texas, check out Lovers and Legends, the comedy show, Valentine's night, which is on a Saturday night. I know you don't have plans, or if you don't have plans, come see the show. But anyway, I am immersed in all these unique experiences. A lot of times people ask me, how does that happen? How do you get in? How are you so lucky? Or why did this happen to you? Or whatever the case may be. Same thing with other people. I mean, I just had dinner with a family of multi-billionaires. And in my mind, I'm asking, well, how did they get so lucky? Even though I know what luck is, just preparedness meets opportunity. In all these situations, the luck, quote unquote, a component of that quote unquote luck is that you have to take risk. You must take risk. By nature, risk, reward. Risk, reward. From a finance standpoint, If you just hold on to your cash will never grow. It'll just stay cash. Actually, because of inflation, the purchasing power of your cash goes down. Okay? So you must take risk to make that money grow. And there's a variety of risks you can take. You can take bonds, government bonds, money backed by the government, although that's really actually risky. But the most conservative risk to take, where you're growing your money like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%, like a CD, certificate of deposit at your bank, gets you a little bit of return. But then you got people that just throw the money at the riskiest investments, and that's where you see the tremendous amount of, billionaires being made. And then you're asking, well, why are they so lucky? Because they were willing to take the risks. I met somebody who invested in Uber when it was valued at $4 million. Now it's worth several $100 billion. How big did that $4 million investment grow for that person, now a billionaire? So you see, you must take risk is part of the equation. And how do you take risks? So, hey, hold up now. Let me get something here. I carry this coin with me everywhere. It's very personal to me. It has a lion's face on it, and it says Audentis Fortuna Iuvat. Okay, so that's Greek, which basically says fortune favors the bold. Fortune does favor the bold. You must be bold. You must take risk in order to get any type of reward to where you would be perceived as lucky, right? I've mentioned this before in my podcast. Coming out of law school, had multiple job offers in the $150,000 to $200,000 range. And we're talking about back in 2000. Turned them all down. Took a risk on myself, and here we are. Now, would my life have been the same or different? Who knows? But at that moment in time, had to take the risk on myself to live the life that I'm living now. And I'm very, very happy, although not satisfied. Very, very fulfilled, although not satisfied with the life that I'm living now. And I'm thankful to God and the universe for that. Point being is that you have to take risk. It is as real as gravity. It is as real as jumping off a building and falling to the ground. You must take risks to get any kind of reward. And we know this. We hear it all the time. No risk, no reward. That is absolutely true. You have to take the risk in order to get the reward. And that's why I love the startup community so well. That's why we're pretty ingrained in the Austin tech world now and in the legal realm here, because everybody that I know that I am surrounded with is comfortable with taking risks. So when we say, hey, man, look at this project. Is it a good idea, bad idea, whatever? It's just, let's just go and do it. Let's take the risk, because we know life will not change unless we take the risk. So how do we look at managing or taking risks? Okay, there's lots of factors to consider. But how does one get comfortable with the idea of taking risk? Well, number one, gather as much information as you can about that, whatever risky decision you are. What information can you get, knowing that information is imperfect? What does that mean? Facts are not always the facts as you perceive them. Everything has context, right? So gather that information, knowing that not all the facts or not all the information is perfect. But based on that information, you do what? Step number 2, make a plan. Whatever that plan is, based on that information, knowing that the plan can fail. Okay? You're gathering information, knowing that the information is not always factual or 100% true. You're developing a plan against that information based on whatever timing you have. The risk might be spontaneous. Hey, I see somebody I need to talk to, a multi-billionaire CEO. I don't have a plan. I don't know much about him other than he's the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and this is my timing, and I got to take the risk to go talk to him now. It might be just like that, right, where you don't have a lot of time for all of this. Or it might be a drawn-out thing. Hey, I have a decision, a comedy show in a month that I've taken the risk to do. And keep in mind, the comedy show is predominantly geared towards the black community and in front of, 7,000 to 10,000 people. That's kind of a risky proposition for me. But I'm going to do it anyways. But that's a further out plan that I can work on and get the information and get the details to build up my set. So, okay, so we're gathering imperfect information. We're developing a plan that we know that can fail or likely will, and we're comfortable with that failure because we know we fail our way to success, right? And then the last part of it, amongst some other sub-details, is that you got to think of all the possible outcomes of that plan, okay? So in the finance world, we used to do this thing called bull case, which is like the best case scenario of an investment. The bear case, which is the worst possible scenario. And the base case, the most likely thing that's going to happen. So in my mind, when I gather the information, I develop my plan, and I think of all the possible outcomes. Best case, worst case, base case. Now here's the key to this analysis. If the worst case, don't look at what's the best case yet. Think of first what is the worst thing that can happen. And if you're okay with living with that outcome, the worst case, right, then that just should trigger you. Go do it. Take the risk. Okay? The base case is the idea of you're thinking about all the possible outcomes and like, this is probably what's going to happen, and this is what I'm shooting for. Okay? The best case is the alternate. It's kind of a reverse thinking. The best case you should look at is, what if I don't do this? What if I don't take this risk and I lose out in the best case? And that should kind of scare you into actually doing it, taking the risk. Does that make sense? So let's say I have a $100,000 investment. I keep framing this in investments because I've been thinking about different investments. Let's say I have a $100,000 investment. And the worst case is I lose half of it. So worst case, I'm down 50 grand. Am I okay with that? If I am, automatic, just go do it. The base case is that 100,000 gets to 500,000 in 2 years. Yeah, that's the target. My expectation is to 5x that money in 2 years. The bull case or the best case is I return $100 million off that 100 grand. So my mind is, man, if I don't take this, if I don't do it, what if the best case turns out and I miss out? I should fucking go do it. So I'm measuring a best case of turning 100 grand to, let's just call it $1 million, 10x, versus losing half, 50 grand, versus an expected $500,000, 5x. That's a sound risk. Let's go do it. Whether or not I have 100 grand or not, that's a different question. But the analysis of the investment opportunity or the risk, I should do that deal, right? Now, there are certain deals where it's like the worst case is I lose everything, but the best case is I become a billionaire. We're measuring that risk, and the likely outcome is like I make $500 million. Is that a good deal? I don't know. It's up to me to decide. It's up to you to decide what's called your risk tolerance. But you got to take the risk to get that outcome. If not, I have 100 grand sitting in the bank and nothing happens. I'm actually losing money to inflation, and nothing happens. And I'm not lucky. And I have expenses, and the money goes to zero. Anyways, unless I make more money. You see how that risk analysis takes shape? Now, it's not all about finance. It could be, again, going to talk to that billionaire CEO. Worst case, I embarrass myself. He blows me off, never sees me again. I'm okay with that because he probably doesn't want to remember me anyways. Middle case is I talk to him, he answers a few questions of mine, I learn something, and we're off on our way. Never see each other again. Best case, we hit it off. I make the introduction, we hit it off. We sit down for lunch for an hour, we exchange information, and now he's a mentor to me. So why wouldn't I go up and introduce myself to the CEO of a $1 billion company? Worst case, if I embarrass myself and he blows me off, okay. Nothing's changed in my life. I'm okay with that embarrassment. Are you? Would you be? That's a question. And that's why when I'm having lunch with billionaire CEOs, people are like, how are you so lucky to meet this guy? Because I take the chance. I take the risk. So here's what I want from you at the start of this year. We're still in January as this episode goes, right? Each month or every week or some period of time, bi-weekly, twice a month, whatever it is, do something risky. Same analysis, but put yourself out there. Do something risky. And then when we do the December episode, the end of the year episode, let's measure how, quote, lucky you were. Simple as that. Let's run an experiment together. I'm doing it already. I'm about to step up in front of 7,000 to 10,000, mostly black audience in a black comedy show for Valentine's Day as the only non-black comedian on stage. Why the hell not? You know, the Anwar Beck, who was on the last episode, my guest, who started up Naya, the AI app for the agentic AI app for your contacts. I was telling him how I'm to do comedy next month. And he's like, you know what, Jan? Even if you bomb, you get booed off stage, you still win. Because how many people get to say they opened up for Cedric the Entertainer or Bill Bellamy? Exactly. The worst case scenario for me, I don't know. I become a meme on the internet. Oh, well. That's, bad publicity is good publicity. More people will know about me. Aren't you the guy that bombed on, Lovers and Legends comedy show? Yeah. But so what? I took the chance, and there I am, opening for Cedric and Bill Bellamy. Have you done that? Would you even consider doing it? Do you have the balls to do it? I don't know. But I'm going to take my shot. Shoot your shot. Take the risk. The base case scenario, yeah, I have a good set. People laugh. I become memorable. Hey, weren't you that guy? Yeah. The best case scenario, dude, I knock it out the park. And now I'll become a legend myself. Lovers and Legends, right? In comedy. Dude, weren't you the guy that, that's exactly what happened 5 years ago when I did my first comedy show at the Improv. Hit it out the park. Now, people still to this day, weren't you that guy, the ninja comic? Yeah, that's me. So who knows, man? Who knows? And that's the beauty of this game. Nobody knows. So you got to walk the path, take the risk to find out. Doesn't kill you, you can still go. Any failure is survivable. If you live with that mentality, trust me, I'll take all the risk every day because other than death, every failure is survivable. And when you come to life with that approach, you will be so surprised at how lucky you will be. Right? So, again, how to analyze risks. Collect information knowing it's imperfect. Develop your plan knowing that it can fail. There are things beyond your control, things that you may not even thought about happen to your plan and you might fail. Analyze your plan in a worst case, best expected case, best case. On that analysis, take that risk. That's it. Do it once a month for me. At minimum, once a month. See what happens. See how lucky you'll be at the end of the year. And here we are. I'm going to close the show as I close every day. If you're new to the show, before I go to bed, before I shut my eyes, I put my head on my pillow, shut my eyes, and drift off to Never Never Land. I thank God and the universe one more time. And one more time to have lived a life with an opportunity to be great, an opportunity to inspire just one person. That's all it takes. And if you were inspired today, know that this is for you. But that lets me go to bed with gratitude and with positive feeling. So with that, I want to thank you all for following, liking, commenting, sharing, especially sharing as we grow our audience. Remember, we do this on a karmic exchange. If you learned something today, I know you learned something today, please do share the show or visit any of my websites. As I say, if you're knowledge swole, share the show. That's how we grow. Be great today, but be even more grateful. And I look forward to bringing you another episode very, very soon. Go out and take that risk for January. Let's do this.